They're going to be firing at a 2 hex range.
Yeah, they'll be firing with 2.
We keep talking over top of each other. Yeah, they're going to be firing 2 dice, -1 because of the woods, correct?
Correct.
And then your infantry is got 4 blocks, +1 because they're French in melee, -1 for the woods. So the bonus and the woods cancel each other out. So you're going to throw a total of 4 dice +1 with the horse artillery. Total of 5 dice into the woods. Right?
Yes, sir. And
okay.
We got 1 hit and 2 retreats.
Well, hang on, because I've got first strike.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm usually loath to bring my British forward unless I've got one of these babies, because the French can really pound you. So I am going to get a first attack here on him, and my light infantry I don't believe have any bonuses for melee combat at all. So that's unfortunate, but I'm going to get to roll 5 dice. But here's the deal: with combined arms, I cannot hurt his horse artillery. The only thing I can hurt is the line infantry. Alright, so I roll, and I got 2 hits and a flag, but the flag's going to get canceled by the leader, so he'll still be able to make his attack. Had he been forced back, then the combined arms attack would not succeed. He would have to just use ranged fire with the horse artillery.
So now, instead of rolling 5 dice, we are rolling 3 dice.
Ouch. That was a most sanguinary get-together.
And now we have the light infantry. They do not get an extra dice for battling in melee, but they do get an extra dice if I was to use them in ranged attack. But we moved in, so they're going to be rolling 3 dice -1 because of the woods. So they'll be throwing 2 dice.
Yeah, you know what? We forgot the leader check there, Mike, from the previous combat.
I'll do it. Okay, the leader was fine.
I should also point out really quickly that, Mike, your light infantry in the woods, if they want to do any battling here, it has to be melee combat, because you can't do any ranged fire if you're adjacent to an enemy unit.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and throw the 2 dice.
Yep.
And that'll be 2 more infantry hits.
Okay, it's official. I think the die roll is broken on this thing.
It sure looks like it.
Well, that's looking a little grim for my boys in the red suits. Alright, so I'm drawing my card because of the first strike. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do another one of these 2-for-1 shots using, we'll get a chance here to show off how these squares work. So if you've been wondering what those square displays are for, you're going to find out in just a second. Unless, of course, Mike, you want to not put them in square again.
No, we'll go in square.
Okay, so we're activating 2 on each flank, and here's how it's going to work. We're going to take our light troops and move them back. I know that doesn't entirely get them out of harm's way, but that's the best we can do for now. And then we're going to take our cavalry, and we're going to charge with them. You move 3 spaces and charge this way. I could go after his artillery. That might be worthwhile doing, but his artillery on the hill has support, so I'd rather take on the infantry here on the far right flank. So here's what's going to happen. We'll go ahead and start off with the attack here. Place the markers. All right, we're going to attack his infantry now. Mike has the option to place his units in square. If he chooses to do so, then I get to do something kind of cool.
Which I will do. And what I do now is I open up the square window here in the vassal module, and I will have, I also open up my card window. And in my card window, there's a little square marker. I click on that, and that sends my cards to the square window, and they are shuffled up, so they're random. I don't know which one's going to be pulled, because during the game, the opponent, you put your cards out, your opponent takes one at random. Then you look at it and you put it face down in the square so your opponent can't see it, but you know what it is. In the vassal module, there's 4 little buttons here that I have to choose from, and 1 through 4. I push the 1 button, it sends my card directly to the square display, and I can see it, but Joel can't. And then what I will do is I will put my unit into square.
What I do in face-to-face play is I usually play with my blocks standing up, and then when I put a guy into square, I lay him down and put the square marker on top of him to show he is now in square. Once you go into square, your combat effectiveness diminishes greatly. You only fire 1 die regardless of how many blocks are in the unit. So even though Mike's got 4 blocks, he's only going to throw 1 die. But since I'm attacking with cavalry, he gets to fire first. So go ahead and throw your 1 die. Okay, and the die is a miss. Now, if it had been a flag, I would have to retreat. That's what's called a cavalry bounce, and so the cavalry has to retreat backwards towards his map edge. In which case, the attacking cavalry wouldn't get to attack at all. Now, when the cavalry attack the square, they also throw a maximum of 1 die. It can't be increased even by card play. So since I'm still adjacent to him, I still get to throw 1 die, and I also throw a miss. Now, as long as my cavalry remains adjacent to a unit in square, that unit cannot leave square. So by forcing your enemy into square, you affect their ability to do things on the battlefield, because they don't have as many cards in their hand. And who knows, maybe he had a really crucial card that ended up on the square display. The only way to be freed from square is to make sure that the enemy cavalry move away from your squares, and then when you activate that unit per normal card play, you simply take them out of square and use them normally. For my next attack, I'm going to use the light here against your guys in the woods, and again it's going to be 3 dice, -1 for the woods, +1 because they're light troops in ranged fire. So 3 dice, and we kill them. Now, to kill a unit in Vassal, just right-click on it and choose or do a Control-E, and it'll place it off in the victory display on the right. And there's a little counter there, so you can keep track of your the number of banners counting toward victory. All right, for my next attack, my poor, very badly wounded light infantry are going to take a pot shot here at the French troops. Now, since he moved, he rolls half his dice rounded up, so that's only 1 block, so he gets to throw 1 die, +1 more because it's ranged fire, so he's still going to get to throw 2 dice here. And we threw a banner, which he will probably ignore. Yeah, Mike?
Yeah, we'll ignore it.
Alright, tough call here. I could fire at his light troops, but I think the more dangerous opponent is the horse artillery, so I'm going to fire at them with my troops in the town. Now, they didn't move. If you move into a town, you cannot battle at all in the same turn, even if you're light troops. So he can fire here. He's going to throw a total of 4 dice. Now, if these were British line infantry, they would get a bonus for ranged fire, but they're not, so they're just going to get the 4 dice. And that would have been a really great shot if that had been infantry. So
yeah, it sure would. You're just one off with your guesses.
Yeah, I thought about it. I really did. I thought about it, but I was hoping to get lucky on the horse artillery.
Okay.
Got a feeling my cavalry's going to get clobbered.
Well, actually, not too bad. Activating 1 on the right and 2 in the center. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to show how artillery can fire over a friendly unit. So we're going to activate the 1 artillery on top of the hill. Well, you know what? Why don't we show the other thing? I'm going to go ahead and come up at you. That way you can show how the cavalry can get out of there if you want, the regroup. So hang on.
Okay. Cavalry in the game, if they are attacked by infantry only, if it's just infantry attacking them in melee, they may do a reform and regroup, which means they can fall back 2 hexes, just like evasion in Ancients, and the enemy gets to throw his dice, but only cavalry symbols will count. Flags and crossed swords are ignored. So that's kind of a nice thing to be able to do with your cavalry. Cavalry also have the ability to do what is called a momentum attack in Ancients. I forget the actual terminology in this game, but they can take ground, move an additional hex, and battle again in melee combat. And incidentally, the cavalry have no ranged fire abilities in the game.
Okay, we're going to order those 4 units, and we will start with the right side movement. I may have gone too far with those. I think they can only go 2. Could you check for me?
Yeah, the guard can only move 2. There's a cavalry charge card that allows them to move 3, but heavy cavalry, guard cavalry, and cuirassier, I think they can only move 2 hexes. The light cavalry can move 3.
So I had second thoughts. So the cavalry wants to come in and do the damage. So that infantry unit will just have to move up into that vacated spot. And on the center and left on the left-hand side, they're going to be doing some shots. So I'm going to go ahead and start from left to right with the 2 units with the leader.
Okay, range fire in the woods. I think it's just one die.
Only going to be throwing 1 die because it's 2 blocks minus 1 for the woods. But it's enough.
That's unfortunate. By the way, battling back is possible only in melee in the game, never in ranged fire.
And we'll take a shot with our cannon. It would be a 4-3-2, so we're throwing 2 dice. And that'll be 1 hit there.
Sorry, these guys made me change all my right-click functions, and I keep hitting the wrong ones.
That's funny. The guard infantry there, they get to throw one per block plus one, so they'll be throwing 5 dice against the cavalry.
Their line of sight's blocked.